After a lifetime in the snowmobile industry, I've observed a few things. One of them is that it takes a lot more than just business savvy to have a successful aftermarket parts, accessories, or clothing business. The ones that are successful always have the same thing in common. They're founded by and the products are designed and developed by passionate snowmobilers. This is one of the main reasons why we value the relationship we have with MBRP. We've been working with MBRP for over 20 years on SnowTrax and even longer with SuperTrax magazine. I spent the day with a couple guys from MBRP, one of them you know and one of them you don't, to find out where their passion for riding off-road came from and how it has become an integral part of MBRP's success. Josh Barkey is Martin's son and the VP of Operations at MBRP. His passion for snowmobiling and off-road riding in general runs super deep.
So when I was younger, I became part of the business by doing muffler insulation of all things. So Martin, my father, always said, you have to work your way from the bottom up. So, from there, working other areas of production to running the warehouse, all the way up to all operations right now with a really strong team all the way through MBRP. So growing up with power sports was a large part of my life. With dirt bikes and snowmobiles were really common for us. Every weekend, with MBRP growing, we'd be joining my parents at event, grass drags, snow crosses. Every weekend we'd be loading up the trailer. Again, that we weren't doing that, we'd be going out to the farm, playing around in the field, and a way for us to get out, have our family time, still tied back to the business.
Jared Heshko will be a familiar face to anyone who watches SnowTrax TV. He's the Canadian National Accounts Manager for MBRP, and like Josh, grew up riding all things off-road.
As long as I could really walk or talk, I think I was on a snowmobile before I knew it. 22 years ago, I guess, was really my first crack at a snowmobile. I think passion would probably be the one word that comes to mind. I mean, for me, anytime, you hear a snowmobile start up, yes, anything gas-powered, you get a little bit excited, I think. Having a passion for that in power sports and automotive has just kind of created who I am as a person.
The people behind the scenes at MBRP are clearly passionate snowmobilers who understand what snowmobilers want from an aftermarket exhaust. But they also understand how important customer feedback is when it comes time to develop new product.
So the importance of the customer input is very high at MBRP, and the feedback is super important, and it really goes through the channels of our sales reps, as well as our CPS department. We're connecting with the dealers and consumers and understanding their needs, whether it be because of different requirements in different areas of North America, whether Canada, US, if there's sound limitations, and ultimately understanding what we can do to meet as many of those as possible. So from a sled standpoint, we would usually work with our sales team. We'd get a lot of information from them, connect with dealers and consumers, and understand their needs. What we do then is bring a vehicle in, scan it, do some flow testing specifically on snowmobiles to make sure that we're meeting the flow needs that are required, and then it goes into a 3D CAD process. The development after that gets into a really actual hands-on side. So this is where we have a couple different versions. We go put them on the snowmobile, we do some dyno testing, we do flow testing, we do sound testing, and ultimately we probably put it on a sled and actually go do some testing out on the lake to make sure that what we're hearing, what we're feeling is actually real.
Sales input, as Josh talked about, into the R&D process is really something that influences our final product. Nobody knows their customers better than, our dealers. And taking that input from them, and also at the retail level, when we're, at shows and events like a snowcross, over at, a car show, we take all that feedback into our design process to make, the end product as well.
So my personal enjoyment of snowmobiling has an effect on the design because I know what I want out of a sled. I know what I want to see out of a muffler. I want the visual upgrade, I want the sound, I want the performance, the throttle response throughout the day. Enjoy it because it gives me more out of the ride. It gives me that little extra that you're not getting with factory muffler. It makes it a little more fun.
Listening to you, the customer, is clearly a foundational aspect of the design process at MBRP. But what I think is the most important foundational aspect of the company as a whole is that the people who are designing and building these products are also using them on their own personal vehicles day in and day out.
So there's many exhausts out on the market too, and there are many of the separating factors from MBRP versus our competition is everything from the ground up. We've been in the snowmobile industry for 25 plus years right now, and that's essentially where the company was started. A passion for that industry, as Josh was talking about, that's where we've grown since day one. But whether it's the quality of the materials, again, 304 stainless that won't rust, everything from laser cut brackets so you can easily install it in your garage, to dyno-proven results that, we're going to tell you it'll gain 1 or 2 true horsepower. MBRP doesn't fudge those numbers. We run, anywhere from 8 to 10 dyno runs per different prototype. This is what the customer can look for and appreciate once we've hit that final mark.
So we use our own products on all of our vehicles, whether it be on-road trucks, cars, off-road racing vehicles that we're using our own products on as well, and even snowmobiles. Our staff is consisting of a lot of enthusiasts as well, both snowmobile riders, car enthusiasts. These are enthusiasts that, again, look at the product, see, what they want to see and do what they want to see for their own use. So when we're looking at, the build quality on these things, these aren't individuals that are just pushing parts through a factory. These are, again, people that are riding, people that are building cars that really do want a quality unit out of MBRP. Personal enjoyment of snowmobiling has an effect on the design because I know what I want out of a sled. I want the visual upgrade, I want the sound, I want the performance, the throttle response, and then really the weight savings more than anything else. If I'm not seeing all those characteristics put into one, then I'm not seeing a product that I'm ready to stand behind.